I know it's based on Pierre Boulez's 1963 film and a book novel, I should say. And there's been 6 films with the 1968 original, 2 animated, 2 TV series. There's been a great Simpsons musical. There's been so many. There's been comic books. Was there a feeling when you started this to rip it up and start again? A feeling of, even though all these things exist, let's do a fresh page.
Absolutely. I mean, it does. It is an origin story. So we are, and also we are creating apes that are apes that we know. They're not humanoid apes of 2,000 years in the future that can speak and converse and have organised society in a particular way, and actually reflect human behaviour and human attitude and social problems. So we are starting afresh. But I mean, there are some homage moments in the movie, But the Caesar in our film is very different to the Roddy McDowall portrayals, in the original.
I was going to say, stranger to performance capture, obviously with Gollum and King Kong, and you've got Captain Haddock coming up, and I don't know whether for you it's a very different muscle you're flexing, or when you think of your days in student radio in Lancaster University, and you start out in stage design, so you know your theatre very well. Whether it's pretty much all the same, it's just you've got to use I don't know if it feels like it's the same gig or whether there's a very different muscle being used.
And there is no different muscle being used. It's all acting, and that's the thing. I think people have there is a perception of performance capture being this weird mystery. There is an amazing amount of science that goes into making a technology that actually allows you to do something very simple, which is to play a character like this. I mean, it is a fantastic technology, but it's a tool at the end of the day, and what brings these characters to life is the acting performance, and it's a marriage of visual effects, but the visual effects are like digital makeup. So instead of putting on a costume and makeup and going on stage and playing a character, or going onto a film set and playing a character like, the equivalent would be John Hurt in Elephant Man, where a team of makeup artists are building that incredible makeup and he goes on and delivers a great performance. Instead of doing that, you're trying to play John Merrick, and then visual effects artists afterwards are painting pixel by pixel on top of your performance to do that. So in terms of acting, there isn't any difference.
I know that the slate's Dana Stevens, a lot of great reviews for this movie, but I know slate's Dana Stevens probably speaks for a lot of people. She said she reckons your performance could be the Oscar-worthy breakthrough that makes performance capture acceptable in the acting community. There is this sort of debate that right from Gollum onwards, that you just think how much of it's in a performance. I know the Academy were a little bit wary of thinking, well, it's animation, it's on all this. And do you feel that it's getting close, that they will recognise these things are performance-based?
I think with increased usage, I think an understanding and change in perception, from Gollum through King Kong, and then of course Avatar. I mean, Avatar was a big game changer because it did, there was a lot of awareness about the use of, and it had become more centre stage in terms of the tool. And then on this, it is raising it again. It's raising the question because every single ape in this movie is created. The original performance is created by a human being, and not to take anything away from the incredible visual effects work, but Weta would admit that their job in this case is that their visual effects is not about blowing people away by showing everybody how incredible this incredible firework display. They're actually serving story and character and making these apes look as realistic as possible and honouring the actors' performances.
We should mention, just before the cameras rolled, I was saying that as with many summers, there's been a dearth of good movies, and such a relief when a great movie like this comes along. And it's been getting a wonderful response in the US, a very, very high kind of a critical rating, but more importantly, did very well at the box office, 54.8 million over the weekend. People thought it would do 30, 35, and on cinema score, like it did A-, which is, the audience is kind of coming out loving it. Did that kind of catch you by surprise too, or did you feel, well, no, I know this movie's going to hit with people?
I mean, obviously you can never predict what's going to happen ever, but I mean, I knew that Rupert had directed a movie that had an integrity about it, and that what we were trying to do, and the performances that we were giving, that it felt honest and real and truthful, and was all about character and story, and wasn't just about kind of go, woo, look at this, the special effects fest.
Two very quick things. That wonderful kind of, when Caesar and his army would say take over San Francisco and wreak havoc. That was based on a Paddy's Day parade, wasn't it? I think that there was footage of a Paddy's Day parade very close to that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But the other thing was that you've got a lot of great work coming up. You've got the Tintin movie. You've got let me see. I've got it written down here, but you've got a lot of. You've got the Wild Bill for Dexter Fletcher, you've got Ian Fitzgibbon, the Irish filmmaker, you've got the Death of a Superhero, but you're also hoping to direct Freezing Time. I don't know if that's still in the works, or whether, like a lot of films, it's always difficult?
Well, actually, no. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm setting up a performance capture studio with Jonathan Cavendish.
Imaginarium.
The Imaginarium, and that's our own studio which will produce films internally. So that's the Edward Muybridge story, Freezing Time, is definitely part of that. It's a matter of when. At the moment, I'm heavily involved in The Hobbit because I'm second unit director on that at the moment. So I'm down in New Zealand. So there's lots of things going on and very exciting things. It's just a matter of time.
Rock and roll. You're doing a great job, son.
Cheers, man.
Nice to talk to you. And you're going to direct, hopefully, Freezing Time. Is that the
yeah.